the way she is unclear or wronged. When Funky responds, she doesn't know what actually happened. The incident gains the internet. In the comment sections, fans contend that the interpretation of the interview is altered by this one interaction. Some claim that Funky seems to be criticizing biased narrative. Some claim he seems truly wounded, not performative. Most people concur that this isn't lighthearted criticism. It's a gradual accumulation of frustration. Funky goes one step further and takes viewers through the night in question, using specifics like times, places, and decisions rather than feelings. Viewers claim that this is the point at when the investigative. He explains how plans were altered, how the internet reacts strongly to his frequent expressions of yearning to return home, and the shifting places because details lend credibility to stories, even when they are contested. Funky tells why he was requested to get out of his car and go somewhere else. Fans start reinterpreting rumors that were written off as unfounded or ambiguous when that video goes viral. Nothing has been verified. There is no proof. However, the specificity encourages conjecture. Commenters begin to wonder why the absence of tension. Someone would create this degree of detail. When Funky starts speaking to Mendeecees directly, though not by name, at first the story becomes. He talks about times when there were opinion, when boundaries were blatantly broken. Court of public opinion. Viewers claim that this is the point at which the issue shifts from gossip to accountability. Tamar and Mendeecees' actions made him uneasy. It becomes uncomfortable. All right? On top of him in your booty shorts throughout the song video. The main topic of internet responses debate whether Funky as a witness, a collateral participant to get out of a situation without his permission. Tamar's house, some people did not get downstairs with her because after she and Mon sing in the back of that goddamn automobile, I assumed they desired to be alone up there. I didn't go upstairs when we were dropped off at Tamar's place because of this. I got into my fucking car and drove home because you were sitting on his lap and implying that he was attempting to fix the record before it solidify in a way that is harmful to him. Make me feel so uncomfortable. Now, if anyone knows who was involved and what transpired with your fucking squad, some contend that he is reacting because the strain has become unbearable. Another layer subtly emerges around the discussion as various interpretations proliferate. The audience's response, not Funky's words. His remarks start to be linked by viewers to persistent speculations, previously speculation, popularity videos of Funky's claims. Terms like career damage, legal pressure, and arrest rumors show fears. The Mendeecees was not arrested, according to Funky, although he does not assert medical validation. The audience's response implies that his remarks are being interpreted as a catalyst, something that heightened conjecture that was already going around. When Funky explains why he didn't accompany Tamar upstairs that evening, the tension increases. Because of what he alleges, but rather because of how convinced he sounds about his choice. This moment becomes one of the most replayed pieces on several platforms. Funky claims that Mendeecees went upstairs, which is why he didn't. A split reaction is triggered by this clip. Funky's supporters contend that he is outlining his limits and separating himself from anything that came after. Skeptics doubt timing and motivation, yet even detractors recognize the impact once that the clip is circulated. Mendeecees and Tamar's silence grows louder. Others observe that Tamar doesn't answer in public. According to remarks that silence feeds theories rather than resolve, Mendeecees stays silent. Fans start to see stillness as a sign of fear, strategy, or legal counsel. Once more, nothing was verified. Simply said, perception is growing faster than the internet. Funky seems to be conscious of how this appears. He freely admits that he will be labeled if he speaks up. Chaotic and attention-grabbing. He embraces it rather than rejecting it. According to Fungi, he admits that people may perceive him as messy. Online, the admission strikes a powerful chord. It is perceived by some viewers as self-awareness. For others, it's a preventative measure. In any case, the dynamic shifts since Funky is no longer downplaying the pandemonium. He is presenting himself as someone who is prepared to take criticism in order to defend hence. Timelines are filled with side-by-side videos, old interviews, fresh pronouncements, and paused frames as the internet reacts. Users compare tones, slow down situations, and examine face expressions. What Tamar meant when she said she didn't know what happened and why. Funky insists her explanation doesn't hold up within that storm are topics of conjecture. For reasons he hasn't addressed, Mendeecees' name is trending. Viewers understand his silence as tactical. Lawyers, according to some, would urge moderation. Some claim it's shock. Once more, there is no confirmation, just interpretation on top of interpretation. The notion that a career might be at jeopardy is not the result of a single statement. It develops as a result of accumulation, public opinion, association, and unresolved issues. Supporters contend that in a time being associated with an unresolved disagreement can be harmful on its own in situations where narrative advances more quickly than facts. They made personal discomfort visible to the public. Moreover, after the narrative shifted from being about what had happened that evening to being about who was in charge of it. The discussion doesn't stop now. It changes as words take hold. Instead than debating whether he should have spoken, viewers begin to wonder why the situation was allowed to get to this position in the first place. People are saying the same thing in different ways in the comment sections. This simmered rather than exploding overnight. The way Funky frames time is what draws viewers in. He makes it clear time and time again that this was not a wine-time encounter or an ordinary evening that was misinterpreted. His tone suggests that he's describing a pattern. He frequently hangs out. Lines were crossed carelessly and I now grant everyone liberty to consider how the public narrative to scrutiny at this point. Fans started questioning why some actions were accepted until they weren't. Why were difficult circumstances let to persist? Commenters claimed that when the story eventually made it to the internet, it was unclear. Funky's assertion that Tamar was fully aware of how online narratives operate is among the most unsettling elements for viewers. He implies that she knows how to build curiosity without ability and how to indicate without verifying. This concept appeals to viewers because it reframes the chaos as strategic rather than unintentional. One of the most often mentioned comments in internet conversations is Funky's statement that Tamar does just enough to stir things up before pulling back. It is replayed, captioned, and used as a prism to reframe everything that came after. Some fans feel that this explains the rapid escalation of rumors. Some argue that speaking from trauma doesn't always make sense. The harm to trust is clearly evident as the discussion heats up. As this line spreads, consumers start recreating the chronology using only remarks and public appearances. There is no introduction of anything new. There are no new accusations. Yet the situation changes. Instead of viewing the night as a mystery, viewers begin to perceive it as a moment with too many witnesses, too many moving pieces, and too many unresolved questions to be contained. The most disturbing response originates from how viewers react when Funky talks about returning home by himself. Many saw this as deliberate disengagement, a refusal to be there for whatever happened. After that, commenters claim that this choice is significant since it shifts accountability without directly placing blame. Mendeecees' name becomes inevitable in the conversation at that point. Not due to fresh allegations, but also because Funky's story puts him at the center of what transpired.